down on his luck. His pockets are near empty. He's sleeping in his truck. The rodeo next Friday. His bills are past due. How we pay for entries, he ain't got a clue. He's a cowboy. It's his turn to ride. He prays for 8 seconds when they shout outside. His future is uncertain. His past he can't forget. He's just a hard luck cowboy. Life hasn't broken yet.
After I get done my intro, just pan over there, show what we got going on. Well, look, everybody, yeah. Welcome. Why am I waiting for you to look at me? Guess I'm used to waiting for that. Welcome.
I'm watching the birds.
Yeah, I know. Welcome back, True. That was too fast. Welcome back, True Horse. Don't get me laughing. Welcome back, True to Horsemanship. You wouldn't know how many times I've tried to say that. This, last few videos we've done with Charlie has been his progress on training. But a couple of things came up this week. We're going to sort of change it up. And it's a lot going to be of what we've showed in the previous 3 videos with him. But this time it's a different concept. I'm going to get a little bit more detail in one certain exercise that I really like. It's good for your horse. And if you have fear issues, it'd be a good exercise for you. And plus it'll get your horse what we call to really rein. In other words, go with the bit. You've seen me do it with when I had the poles up, and you've seen me do it a little bit here and there, but I'm going to get in more detail with it. And as everybody knows, Charlie, according to one comment on one page one time, he's a crazy stud that the person posted and we ought to gild him. Well, if Cindy can pan over what we got going on. I got 4 horses out and they're all grooming. It's close to feed time now. And Charlie's pretty quiet. And if they start running around, Charlie might get a little amped up, but it's my job to keep him where I want him. He's got to learn. You can't, these people that train in sterile environments, at some point you got to get out of that environment. So what can you do? Start from the beginning, because every day if I ride him, there's horses out here, and some days it gets a little weird because he's got little one, he thinks he's got to get in here and go to work, so he comes running down. Now we got Spirit, a little black and white spotted horse over there. Him and little one's got the same personality, so they're both think they got to run down and create mischief. But I don't get upset about it. I laugh and giggle and go on with my job. So, you know, like I said, a lot of this is what you've seen on the other, but I'm just going to get more detail. Because one person, it was because of 2 reasons. Because of a lesson, and I had a conversation with the person. She got in a bad accident with her horse, and she's overcame a lot of her fear issues, but I think it's still got an underlying problem with them. So the first exercise I'll be doing is great for him. It's just a serpentine, go back and forth, and I'm going to do it wrong a few times, and I'm going to allow him to do it wrong a few times, and then I'll correct him. But on the serpentine, where he's at now, I got to go back and forth in his training, because if I use my leg and my hand, he'll do it real pretty. But if I just depend on my rein, he'll fall out. But to me, a finished horse, if I touch that bit, he ought to go that way if I direct rein him. Or if I lay that rein on his neck when he's finished, he ought to go that way. He shouldn't have to depend on my leg. I ride with my legs, I ride with my seat, but at the end of the day, a trained horse shouldn't just depend on that. So, you know, anything, you know, we always start at a walk. I'm going to ask him to give me his face for a little bit. And I'm going to release him. He's going to get in a little hurry because the horse is down there moving, which is fine. I expect that. Like I said earlier, it's my job to ride him and teach him no. You know, he's got to listen to me. So we're just going to walk here at first. And walk across. You know, when you're doing any exercise, when I go here to the left, as soon as I pick up my direct rein, I'm going to look. I'm going to start doing my serpentines now. I'm going to look the direction I go. I pick up my right rein, I'm going to look the direction I go. When I'm doing a serpentine, when I want these tight turns. Now he broke in a trot. I'm not going to worry about it. Because we're going back and forth. Right now I'm not using no leg. I want him to follow that feel. And I'm making sharp turns. I'm not going way out and out. Now what can happen, like what happened with my lesson, if I start looking at what the horse is doing, look what's happening. Now, if I look where I want to go, there's the difference. You know, get your head up. Look where you want to go. And get in the habit. That's why serpentines is a good little exercise. As soon as you pick up, you want to go the other direction. You look that direction you want to follow. You want to pick up, look the direction. And here we go. And like I said, I'm making tight turns. I'm not making a big sweep. I want him to really get that feel. And what I'll do, not to get him dependent on that rail to turn, you know, I'm going to turn him before I get to the rail at times. Now the problems you will run into, like we did with him the other day when I was giving a lesson doing serpentines, he figured out that we was going back and forth this direction. So what I'll do, I'm gonna feel him right then. He's sort of waiting for me. And that's what I want him to wait for direction. And if you notice while I'm doing my serpentines right now, oh, hey, when I'm doing my serpentines, I'm riding real loose. And because I'm not riding him collected. Now here in a bit I'll ride him collected, but I want him to go both ways. And if you don't need a rein to do this, you know, just pick out just flat area and go back and forth. And if you got fear issues, you know, don't worry about canter or nothing. You know, let's start a walk. The fear issues come from you get it in your head, you know, of course you had a bad accident, so you're scared it's going to happen again. But if you can do exercises where you think you can really control your horse, your fear issue is going to eventually go away. So that's why, now if you got fear issues, start doing a serpentine. You know, I'm riding pretty loose. But go ahead and have a little bit of contact. Don't hold them tight, but don't worry about them like me once he's starting trying to trot. I didn't worry about him trot because I know I'm going to turn him. And, you know, and he knows he quit trying to trot. I'm not going to micromanage him. I can ride him looser. And like I said, this is a great exercise. Get you where you're looking, and you can do it out in the open. And what you do, if you're doing it out in the open, pitch it. If you have a hard time, you know, picking up and looking, if I'm going this way, well, let's say I'm going this way, but eventually I'm going to go that way, what I'll do, I'll pick up, I'm going to look at the rail and ride towards that rail. If I'm out in the open, if I got a tree I can look at to focus on, or a bush or anything. But first off, if you're just getting a hip when you pick up and look, that will help get your horse going because it'll shift your body a little bit. Because like over there, when I started looking at him, when I pulled him, what I was doing, this hip came up, this hip went down, and I just was pushing him that direction. So if I stay center, and you know, I'm just looking with my head, or try to. I mean, we all make mistakes. So I'm going to go to the left here. So what I'm going to do, reach and look to the left. I'm trying to keep my shoulder square. I'm going to reach down and look to the right that time. And now I'll start bringing my legs in a little bit. So if I want to go to the, and I'm going to ride with just a little bit more contact. Look direction I want to go. Right there, he thought he was going to the left. I'm helping, like I said, I'm helping him out with my legs more now. I'm riding him more in frame now. I want him to get on that hiney better. Look. Bingo. He's trying to back up on me, so I just let him go because I'm riding him in frame. He's not sure what I'm asking of him. Oh. And why I stopped him, backing him up a little bit, he's pushing on the bit somewhat, so I'm going to back up here. I'm waiting for him to soften up to my hands here. Because I know, I'm riding him more and more. Like right then, I'm riding him more collected. And I'm asking for sharper turns than I normally do when I'm moving him out. So I know he's going to push on the bit. So we're going to back up here. There we go. Gotta wait for that softness. He's not allowed to push that nose out. He's not allowed to walk through it. Yeah, I'm gonna grab him. I'm gonna throw that wall up. I want that softness to come. Right now I'm a little busy. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. All right. Now this is where people get in trouble. Move it. Yep. Right there. Because there was a few times there. That's one thing about when you're working a horse where he's at, when you start bumping it up, he's going to act like he doesn't know. You're going to think he's going backwards. When in reality, I'm just adding more and more pressure to him. He knows how to get to the bit, and he is, if I put him right on the rail, he is getting framed softly. So he knows what to do, but I amped it up a little bit. I was asking sharper turns while I was moving. So he started pushing on through, trying to push through my hands. And that's why I kept, backing him up, wait for that softness. And I'd get a little, he'd give me 2 steps where he'd soften up to the back and the face, and then he'd try to push. So, there's, especially where he's at, because he knows, if I just say, do the old adage, I got to quit on a good note. What would happen There. He would back up 2 strides, and then I would have taught him you can push on the bit after 2 strides softly. So I got to get a few strides there, you know, where he's consistent enough to let him have his head. So now we go back to our serpentines again. Now, since he started giving me a little fit, without doing him sharp, I'm going to ride him loose a little bit. I'm not going to get so pig-headed and say, damn it, you're going to do it. I'm going to let him come down a little bit. And I'm still going to bring my leg in there now. And look where I want to go. That time was a combination looking where I want to go, my hand and my leg. But now, I want to be able to use more leg instead of hand. There, good boy. See, that time he started giving me a little bit of resistance, but he came out of it. So we're going to put him back on the rail for a little bit. But I want him to make these corners. I can make them corners sweet by putting him in a frame, using that outside leg. But I want to keep backing up for him to follow that field. Follow that field. I pick up, I want him to follow it. Follow it. Now we're just going to walk down the middle. So I'm purposely letting him have his head. There's just stuff going side to side. Now we're going to go up the middle. I took him around the rail once just to sort of give him a break from it. There, that's sweet. Now that time he went with that field real softly. I just picked up and he just went. I'm going to add a little bit of leg there. I'm going to add more leg. Now I'm going to start putting more leg on him. Go that way. So now we're going to do the same variation, but I'm going to use my leg. And now my hand's just a backup. My direct rein, we'll put leg on him. And as long as that leg's on and tight, I want him to turn. But if he doesn't, I go in there and just pick up that rein and help him out a little bit. But I'm prepared. If you watch me, I'm going to go this way a little bit. I want to just pick up on that inside rein and give him some leg. So I'll pick up that inside rein if I have to help him. If he doesn't move off that leg, I'm already in position to give him a hand. Pick up my inside rein, give him a little bit of leg. If it doesn't move off that leg, like I said, I pick it up, tighten it up, right there. Now, pull and release a couple times because he didn't move off that leg. So all this, you know, you start off in your serpentines and then first get them reining, then use a combination of your rein and your leg. And like right now we're backing off and it doesn't look like it, but I'm trying to use more leg. Right there, if that was all leg, I'll roll it. If he doesn't move off my calf, I roll my spur. I look, try to use my calf. If that don't work, I'll use my spur, and if that does, roll my spur, and if that don't work, now I'll go to my hand. Like right there, I had to go to my hand. And then we'll just let him move out a little bit here. Now I picked that spot. I'm going to pick a spot, use that outside rein to help him. Now I'm going to pick a spot and come across, pick a spot. I'm going to pick a spot. Ooh. And what you know, one of the things I want, especially using the same horse up and up, you'll see one video, he'll be super soft, he'll hit it right. And then, you know, by the time we film next day, I mean, a week or two down the road, he might look like, oh, he's going backwards. The horses, you know, they go back and forth, back and forth. But the biggest thing I want to stress, that time period they go back and forth gets wider and wider and wider. I mean, that's the big difference. But if you got fear issues, or if your horse, when you're going down the trail and you want them to go up a hill, you wonder why in the hell they're not going up that hill? Why are they going way off to the left? Chances are you spotted something and start looking, and the horse is going to go, you know, deviate to that direction. I mean, Ray was riding and he looked at something and Charlie just went right to it. You know, thank God, I think Ray finally got it. And that's it, when you're doing serpentines, I'm going to go back over again. When you pick up and using just your hands, pick up, look, right then, look at that direction you're going. You know, try to keep your shoulders square and look. And then do walk, trot. Don't worry about canter, do it mostly a walk, trot. I didn't do it with trot so much with him because he was pretty well going where I was putting him. So, you know. Yes, honey.
May or may not be part of this. When he was backing up, it looks like he's backing up almost straight leg. Is that because he's fighting you?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
like
resistance.
Something wrong or something.
No, it was resistance.
Okay.
Because now you see how soft he's backing. He's just, you know, he's a 3-year-old. He's gonna have them 3-year-old moments like, I don't want to. Little Johnny don't want to. And my job is to say, Johnny, you're going to. I mean, that's what's going to make him a good horse, a super horse. You that's actually a good point. Even though it sounds like it's not the same. But especially when you're starting with any horse, you got to be consistent. Always be consistent. I mean, like I said, if I got lazy and said, oh, he backed up twice with him soft in the mouth, where he's at, like I said earlier, next time he's going to do it. Well, what's going to happen, he's going to completely start pushing on the bit totally all together. I mean, he'll be pushing on it all the time. So I got to get him, you know. That's what I want right there. I mean, Cindy didn't mind jumping down here real quick. She says no. Because what I was going to have her do, when I'm pulling backwards, she can touch that rein and you actually see how soft I'm doing it now. But if I let him get away with him throwing his little fit that I don't want to earlier, he wouldn't be doing it. I mean, that's when you start going backwards. So when you're working your horses, I know it started off to help you get over your fears and such, but it all hand in hand. You know, when you're working horses, number one, yes, you want to quit on a good note, but don't use that for excuse. You want to quit on a great note. Like right now, if I just see right there, he pushed in my hands. So here we go again. But the difference that time, he fought me a little bit, but as soon as he figured out he wasn't getting by with it, no, that's typical 3-year-old. You know, because, and that's one nice thing, you know, being Saturday afternoon, me and Cindy could have got lazy and say heck with it. But right now, but it doesn't matter. This is not an excuse, and I won't allow him or allow myself. This is an important part too for everybody. So, oh no, this is a good little, you know, I like the points I'm bringing up. I can say myself. It's feeding time. And we had horses here. Like I said earlier, if things got crappy, it's my job to fix it. Not to say, oh, well, look at that, it's feeding time. Poor little Johnny's hungry. Oh, I got horses out there. Poor little Johnny don't have to listen to me because he's just a little 3-year-old boy. So he's going, bullshit. You know, pardon my language on that one. But a fine example of that, I had somebody brought their child over who was 4 years old years ago. I caught the boy swinging. We had a top freezer. He's swinging on the freezer door. So I'm waiting for the parents to say something. And finally they had out, well, little Johnny's just being a, 4-year-old boy. And my response was something, no, I'm not put off of it. And I said, I'll handle it. And the same boy I had a sunken living room. He about tore the wrought iron railing off climbing on it. And I had to handle it. Because they had that excuse, poor little Johnny's just being a 4-year-old boy. Don't use that excuse on these horses. You'll have a better relationship and you're losing out on a relationship. Make them responsible for their actions. And yes, it's pressure and release, And at times you gotta allow them making a mistake, but you don't keep allowing them to make a mistake over and over and over again. It's up to you. Allow them make them, so I need to put that in there. You allow them to make a mistake, then you get in there and fix it. Right after they make it. So that way this is the way you want me to do it. So on the fear issues, number one, don't listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, because they'll say, oh, ride them on the rail, canter, trot, and do this and do that. You won't get over your fear issues. You get over your fear issues when you realize you can control that horse. And that little serpentine exercise is a great one because you're shutting them down. Don't do it where you got 5 miles back and forth. Take you like here, this about, 65 foot, 70 foot across. So, he tries to trot, Oh, that's fine. We're just going to turn them real quick. Are you thinking of something, honey? No, okay. Cindy had that thinking look to her. So, I've preached and I said, and I hope you get something out of this. If Cindy can think of something, I'd appreciate it, but she's not. So, as I always say, please be true to a horse, and they will be true to you. They'll give you so much. Everybody will have a super horse. Well, 75% of them will be. I mean, I'm not going to give, some horses are like people. They're just, you know, somebody once said, I just saw it on Facebook, said, well, there's no such thing as bad horses. And somebody said, well, yeah, they are. And then somebody jumped in, well, it's completely a human's fault if the horse is bad. Guess what? Sometimes horses are just plain ranked from the day they're born. I've known them, I've seen them, and I've seen them when they're foals, and I've seen them when they're 4-year-olds, and they're still mean. So, you know, yes, 75–80% of them are great. And if you notice, the camera angle is a little different. And I'm not on Charlie. We're fixing to go. And, you know, the problem is, a lot of times, me and Cindy's conversations after the video is done, there's some parts I think, dang, I should have brought that up. Or it'll come up about this or that. And Charlie, she asked me again and said, you know, has he backed up much? And I said, no, Charlie back up as fast as I kiss. I mean, he'll just zoom backwards. But the point me making here, and he's been backing, I think the last video he backed up real good. Charlie is 3-year-old, and he's still growing, bless his heart. So what could be happening, you know, he could be hitting another growth spurt, and a lot of times I have ran into that. So I got to, you know, sometimes even remind myself. Of course, I don't get after him no more than what I was doing earlier. Well, as soon as I know he does the right thing softly for a little bit, and then I come off of it. But he's liable to be hitting and me riding him, I can tell you he is, because I feel like I'm riding downhill. He could be hitting another growth spurt, which is going to make him a little bit uncomfortable. So your forward movement motion not going to show up so much. But when you're backing up, you know, he might, from that going, he might be not sore enough where you can't ride him, or not sore enough that he can't back him up. He's just uncomfortable. So what do you get? You're going to get some resistance. So that's a good point, an important point I want to put in there. When you're working these younger horses, especially your bigger horses, you got to take that in consideration. There are going to be at times that they're going to be uncomfortable, so you just got to remember that and try to take everything in consideration. So next time I ride him Monday, you know, I'm going to get him soft to the bit and get him back up softly, but I'm going to think about that and not do it so much. Just ride him out and work on him cutting corners. But that's going to make him, when I'm riding him in frame, and I'm going to ask him to get on that hind end. So, you know, that's a good point, because it all makes sense now talking about it. You know, so I'm going to get more resistance, because, you know, it's like, hey bud, my hocks are growing. I'm a little bit uncomfortable here. So I got to take that in consideration. So when you're working these young horses, especially if you're working a 2-year-old too, you got to think about it. You don't want to start blowing out hocks. That's how you blow out hocks and all. You know, get what you want and leave them alone, basically. So, with that said, be true to your horse. They'll be true to you, to my kids, my grandkids, and a special person out there at Wash State Lake. KDA, God bless, take care. See, I'll just